Hi, everybody. Welcome to another edition of 49ers Live tonight with yours truly, Professor B on Niners Radio 49. As we're back on the South for on this great Wednesday night, of course, the election day thing has came and went. As we now moving forward, as 49ers, we're getting ready to take on the prepare to get back to work on Wednesday. They're going to be taking on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers for an early game on Sunday. As we're going to get you ready to prepare for this, or get you ready for that game. And this segment is presented by KFC, Cajun Deep Fried Turkey, reserved today. Open Thanksgiving. KFC will be open Thanksgiving Day from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. Orders must be picked up, prepaid, quick and easy pickup starts on November 1st, 2024. So visit your participating Kentucky Fried Chicken around the Bay Area for more details. So we're getting back to it on Niners Radio 49 on this Wednesday night. 49ers Live tonight with yours truly, Professor B, here at the Satellite Digital Media Studios in San Francisco, here in the Professor B's Candlestick Man Cave. So we got a lot to get to break down tonight. 49ers going to get ready to take on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers on Sunday. We'll have the kickoff time will be at 10 a.m. local time. The game will be seen locally on Fox. And we'll just give you all the information. That we continue on Niners Radio 49 for this 10th week season of this 2024 NFL season. So some of the news are coming out today. Charvarius Ward has left the team. Of course, he's headed home to his hometown, Dallas, Texas, as he's getting ready to prepare for the funeral of his 1-year-old daughter. Such a sad tragedy that would happen a week ago. And on our behalf of Niners Radio 49 and the 49ers organization, the faithful, we send our condolences to Charvarius Ward and his wife, going through this horrible, difficult time, especially, like we know, getting real close towards the end of the holiday, getting towards the beginning of the kickoff of the holiday season, which will not begin till about 3 weeks from tomorrow. Will be Thanksgiving, begin the first of the 4-day holiday weekend, and that kicks us off right through the holiday season. That's a sad time that, and it's I know a lot of people who lost loved ones, who've lost loved ones around this time of the year, right before the start of the holiday season, and it's not a pretty sight at all. So, our prayers and condolences go out to the Charvarius Ward, the 49er faithful, and it's going to be a tough time for him to deal with, to lose the 1-year-old child who just. As it shows you, you can't take life for granted because you never know when it's going to end. And I've known it very well. A good friend of mine's who lost her dad about 5 years ago around this time. A good friend of mine's not going to mention their. I'm not going to mention their name. Lost their dad to cancer 5 years ago. So this is something that they're going to have to Yep. So this is something that the family they're going through the grieving. So like they say that it's going to be a tough one. Life goes on. The show must go on, like they say. But under these circumstances, it's very difficult. So we will go into our 10th week schedule. So the Niners will take on the Buccaneers, and that's going to be on Sunday. That's going to be on Sunday. That's going to be a 10 a.m. game day kickoff. That's going to be a game. That's going to be a kickoff at 10 a.m. And it will be Kevin Burkhardt, and it's going to be regional coverage in the Bay Area on Fox Sports. So it's going to be Kevin Burkhardt and Tom Brady with the call at Tampa. They're going to get that's going to be a regional game, a single regional game on Fox Sports, the exclusive network home of Super Bowl 59. And I believe it's going to be a CBS doubleheader weekend as well. CBS is going to have they're going to have the doubleheader coverage. The early game will be Denver at Kansas City. All of you Niner fans who probably don't care in the San Francisco Bay Area market, half of the country, you're going to get the Broncos against the two-time defending Super Bowl champion Kansas City Chiefs on CBS. And then the late game will be Philadelphia at Dallas. That's the late window at Texas Stadium or at AT&T Stadium in Philadelphia. That's going to be the late game in the Bay Area. So we'll be, the Niners, getting players back, including Christian McCaffrey, getting healthy at the right time so the Niners can go on to get back in this playoff chase, because if the season ended today, the Niners would be on the outside looking in. They trail the Chiefs. They are trailing the. They trail the Cardinals by one game, and the Cardinals play the New York Jets in the desert on Sunday. So the Niners are going to have to just take care of themselves and. Got to take care of themselves. And hopefully, the Niners, of course, they will not play within the division after this game. Then coming up on the 17th, then they'll play the Seattle Seahawks at Levi Stadium, back home at the Mecca. Then they begin a stretch where they have their next two games will be on the road at Green Bay. Then they go to Buffalo for a Sunday night game on December 1st to wrap up the Thanksgiving holiday weekend. They'll take on the the Buffalo Bills in Buffalo. And then they'll play the Bears, and then they got that mid-December game on that Thursday night against the Rams, and then they'll play the Cardinals in Arizona, which that could determine the NFC West title towards the end of the year. So there's a lot of football left, and the Niners are just going to have to get people healthy, and they can get on this run to make this run. So we will see. A lot of football left to be played. The Niners getting people back from the injury list. Of course, we already know that. Brandon Ayuk will not be back this season because he suffered that torn ACL, and then Hargraves, who tore his tricep muscle, could be back for the playoffs should the Niners, if and when should or the Niners get there. So there's a lot of games left for the second half of the 49ers, and we just they say you got to take them one game at a time. So we're going to go in coming up next. We will take a look back at some more classic Niners. We'll take a look back So we're going to take a look on 49ers for the press conferences as Kyle Shanahan getting ready to preview the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And so Sunday's game will be at 10 a.m. kickoff time. We will have a Niners Radio 49ers pregame show on our sister network on Satellite Digital Media Sunday morning will go on the air around, I think, around 9:15, 9:30, and we'll have our pregame show before we send it off to Raymond James Stadium in Tampa. We are gonna so we're gonna so we'll hear from Kyle Shanahan's press conference. We're gonna just check this out in just a few moments. We'll start off with Kyle Shanahan and the McCaffrey updates, adjustments for Week 10. Then in our Niners Radio 49 flashback, we'll take you back to the 10th week of the 1994 49ers, which was a Super Bowl season. We'll take a look back when the 49ers travel to the nation's capital following their bye week. They take on the Washington Redskins in the nation's capital in Washington. So we're just waiting to, just to get things fixed up and download, trying to get everything on point. It will be just a few moments, so we are going to we're just waiting. Yep, so okay, so we're just going to continue on we're going to continue on. Okay, so we're just going to get ready. We'll set that up in just a few moments. So I was just, we're going to set it up. So guys, check it in on, we're here on Niners Radio 49, 49ers live tonight. Check us out on YouTube page, youtube.com/@Niners Radio 49. Please, if you have a chance, click the subscribe button. Our goal is trying to get 1,000 subscribers, and so far so good. We just got to keep on pushing, try to do many podcasts we could do. We'll do daily updates, breaking news, and so much more. So we're just gonna take a look, and we're going to get ready to share you Kyle Shanahan's presser as of right now. He's gonna talk a preview the Niners and the New York or the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So let me just
Right, injuries for practice today. Kevin Givens, groin, won't practice. Conley, hamstring, won't practice. Mooney, personal, won't practice. Jake Moody, right ankle, limited. Juwan Jennings, hip, limited. Debo, rib, oblique, limited. Feliciano, knee, limited. McCaffrey, Achilles, limited. Yetur, knee, limited. Mitch, back, limited. And that's it.
How did Christian fare on Monday? Does he still seem on track to play Sunday?
Yeah, he was good. We didn't do too much, but had no pain, was good yesterday, and excited to get him out there today.
Kyle, what have you told Mooney about just how much time he needs?
I haven't told him any. It's we haven't even got there yet. I know they're having the service, I believe, this Friday for Amani. I know he's out in Dallas right now, and we're on his time with that. So just whenever he's getting close to ready.
The NFL doesn't give you guys a roster exemption or players roster exemption for being on bereavement?
No. Huh? No. But never thought about it till this situation. But no. I mean, it's tough. But everybody handles those things differently. You never know how. I don't even like to think of how I'd react because you don't know until it happens. So just something you got to be there for someone, and there's no right or wrong way to do it. It's whatever works for the person.
At what point do you think there will be a decision on whether or not Christian plays Sunday?
To like publicly kick off.
What about in your mind? What do you need to see from him, or what does he need to tell you?
That he's just Christian McCaffrey, and he's not hurting. But as long as everything goes well, it has in the rehab. So just as long as he doesn't get sore and have setbacks each day with practice. Usually if you get that in practice, that means it's going to be worse in the game. So hopefully you can string together 3 days in a row and not have any of those.
If he does look like the Christian of old, does his workload become the workload of old, or is that something that you're going to be more cognizant of?
It definitely could, but it also definitely might not. So.
But let me just follow that up. I mean, he did have a heavy workload last year.
Yeah.
Is there any thought that the issues that he's dealing with now are related to the 20 games that he played a year ago?
I don't believe that. I don't think he believes that. I think things happen to a body. I think they happen in the off season, but I don't think that really has to do with numbers. When a guy's healthy and good, they're usually good. But we got to see where his conditioning's at, how he is. I know he's conditioned as well as he can be, but how's football? Usually I don't chalk up to numbers one year to affect the injury the next year.
When you're making a game plan, do you have to make one with Christian and one without Christian?
You got to do it like always. I mean, you got to be ready for. Guys have different traits. So whether a guy's going 10 plays, 30, or all plays, or whether he gets hurt in the first series, or whether he gets sick before the game, it's the same as always. Difference with different players.
I guess people have gotten conditioned to you guys making a significant move at the trade deadline. That happened this year. What was, I guess, your and John's thought process as far as not making a huge move?
I think it was the same as every year. There's just we don't just make a huge move because we want to. We think it's something that can help and not hurt you for the future. And you got to risk. You got to weigh those risks every year. And a few good things have popped up that we thought were worth the risks in past years. We didn't see anything this year. That was a huge risk, but we do feel like we helped our team with the things that we did do.
Had Gibson on the practice squad last year. It was 2 years ago. Put him in the lineup, and then he never came out. What do you look for this time around?
Just want to see where he's at. With him having the suspension and then him being with Jacksonville, he was always someone we were looking to in the offseason to bring here. And then he ended up getting with Jacksonville, and we're glad that he's not there. We knew as soon as that wouldn't be the case, we wanted to get him here if it worked out for him. With some of the injuries that we have, it was awesome to be able to get him and be available for our practice squad. And we'll get to see him practice this week, and we'll play it from there.
Since you've been here, your teams have won 70% of the games after the bye. Is there anything that you do during the bye or that you do to prepare yourself or your team post-bye?
No, I think, you'd like to think you get better the more you practice and the farther you go. You also like to think other teams do that too. So I always like to feel we're going to be better I like to feel we're better the following week always. But our first year we started 0-9, and finished 6-10, so I think that helps a little bit. But all the years after our second year, I think we've had good teams, and so we've had good records, and they've come pretty early too.
You guys have played, I think, 4 teams that are coming off a bye this week, and in the schedule as far as rest differential, everything doesn't work in your favor. This week is an exception. Obviously, Tampa. Did you watch the game and are you like, sweet, they're going to overtime?
Yeah, definitely. I was hoping the rules would change and they could go to double overtime. That's always stuff that I mean, it can be advantage, but I've done it enough that you think it's an advantage and it's a disadvantage. I've been in times where you think the bye week is the rest you need, and you feel rested and stuff, but you just got out of your groove a little bit and you're a little rusty, where teams that are going every single week are kind of in their groove. So I've seen it both ways, but I definitely would take our side over the other.
What do you see from Baker? How has he grown in Tampa?
I think Baker's a stud. I think last year, I thought he was at the top of his game last year, playing real well, and this year I think he's the same, if not better. I think he's one of the main reasons. I think they were a couple plays away from playing us in the NFC Championship last year. We were real worried about him going into that game. He just got hotter as the whole year went, and he's playing at such a high level right now.
3 out of the next 4 weeks, you're on pretty long road trips. Is there anything that you have to do to prepare for that differently?
Not really. I mean, we deal with crowd noise more here and stuff, so you get used to the silent cadence, but usually you get used to that in half a day. Sometimes we like having a little more sleep on the airplanes, which is nice. At least coaches, you get a little more rested, but always like being at home. Always like being in our stadium. Always like Fridays being around our families and stuff, but sometimes it's nice to hunker down a little bit and be about a group of 53 guys or whatever it is going against a whole stadium, and doing that a few weeks in a row can get fun, and as long as you handle the games.
Just your comprehensive look on what you've seen from your team as a whole, knowing that you guys have taken some hits early in the season. When they came back on Monday, how did you feel like you guys looked after the bye?
Yeah, I always go off, it's usually like the first meeting I talk to the guys. It's usually it's like 10 on Monday. But I always kind of I love the feeling usually of a room before you talk after a bye week. I've been on teams that you don't have a good team, and everyone's been off a week. Everyone's still like trying to get used to getting awake for a meeting. And then sometimes you walk in a room and you can just feel the collective energy of a team that feels rested. They got away for a little bit and they're excited to be back. They're excited to be around the players, the coaches, and everyone for what's ahead. And that's the vibe I got from our team. I think we got it rested. Doesn't solve everything. I mean, it's only a week and stuff, but it's as good mentally as it is physically, and we got a lot ahead of us. It's going to be a huge challenge, but one that we definitely feel we're capable of, and one we're excited and up for.
Tampa played 83 plays on defense. As a play caller, what can you do when you see a team's played that much, block advantage?
I mean, not much as a play caller. I mean, it's you hope they're still tired from it. So you hope that we make the game hard for them and stuff, and do all that. But kind of like what I was saying earlier, it's sometimes you go every week and you have bye weeks early and you go like 10 weeks in a row and you just get on runs and you guys get used and you get to the motions. I thought last year one of our toughest challenges was clinching our division after that Washington game and having the next week not count anything versus the Rams, and then another week where we had a bye week and we had to watch everyone, and then we had a week of practice to get ready for our Green Bay game, and I felt that was one of the reasons I thought we played some of our worst football. And guys loved it. Guys were into it. They were getting rested, but you just kind of got out of that groove, and man, it felt like we needed a break because we were exhausted, but it doesn't always help. So you got to keep that intensity. Even though your mind usually is, you got to make sure everything's going through it, and because it doesn't get easier, it gets harder, and you got to be used to it being hard all the time. You got to get comfortable with that, not
All right, that's 49ers head coach Kyle Shanahan in his so we're just hold on. All right, so we continue on Niners Radio 49ers Live tonight. Professor B at the studios here in San Francisco. We're
Hey, RG. Hey, I know y'all feel it. I know y'all feel it. Hey, today is a special day. I can feel it. Today is a special day. Hey, I need it from everybody today. Communicate, show up, we hit, we do it.
We are just
Hey, show who we are today. And let's straight like that. Show who we are. Let's go. DB's on 3. 1, 2, 3. DB.
Have a night, man. Let's go have a night. Make a play, celebrate, get your teammates hyped up. You can do it.
okay. So yeah, I have a little hard time with the for our stream system, so we apologize for that inconvenience. So we continue on 49ers Live tonight. Check us out on youtube.com/@NinersRadio49. Please also click the subscribe button. We got some good stuff coming up in the coming weeks as now we're in this peak period of the fall season. As you know, as we now beginning, this is the first full week of November, as Halloween and the elections and all that madness have came and went. So as we're getting closing up on towards Veterans Day weekend, and hope all you guys are enjoying us on Niners Radio 49 and youtube.com/@NinersRadio49. Please click the subscribe button. Our mission is to try to get 1,000 subscribers, and we're already on a good pace for that. Just check us out, all of our content, and we're going to keep on pushing forward to be one of the best podcasts in the country. So now on Niners Radio 49, we're going to go on the other side of the Bay Area, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers side. We're going to hear from the press conference over in Tampa. This is coming from courtesy from our friends at Buccaneers.com, and it's the quarterback for the Buccaneers, Baker Mayfield, talking about this Sunday's matchup. I'm going to fix it up in just a moment. We'll pull that in just a moment, as we'll give him his thoughts of facing the 49ers on Sunday. The Buccaneers coming off a tough loss to the two-time defending Super Bowl champion Kansas City Chiefs a couple nights ago on Monday Night Football, and we're going to show you that presser just about right now.
Anybody?
And you got a little dinged up after the game. How are you feeling today? Let's start with that.
A little sore, but yeah, be good to go by Sunday. So.
Positions every year is different, right? You started 3-1, had to get yourselves out of some stuff. This year, it's injuries. I don't think it's been a factor for offense. Made good strides. What's the template? How do you continue to not make this go 4 games, 5 games, 6 games?
Yeah, it's just obviously one singular game focus, but knowing that the bye weeks after this one is going to be a huge help for us to get some guys back. But offensively, and I'll just speak on that, is I mentioned it after the game was, leaving 3 points before halftime is a huge thing. So, and that goes back to, in the weeks prior of the turnovers that I had in the red zone or past the 50, making sure we're doing everything we can on offense to not leave points out there. And so that's what we're focused on is finishing drives. Still trying to find some ways to get explosives. We're doing a good job of driving the ball on everybody, but need to finish, but need to find more explosives as well.
Continues to show up for you. What has made that connection so great, especially at a time when you really need him?
Yeah, I mean, it's all Cade. A special player that, he's so smart. He knows where to be, knows exactly what we're trying to get done within whatever scheme we're calling, run or pass, and just he understands everything. So then you add in the physical traits that he has, and he's able to, showcase those in the last few weeks, and it's an all-around player that we have.
Does intelligence help? Because I know I'd asked you a question about like the, what you and Chris were able to kind of do improvisationally with the scramble drill and stuff, and you talked about his intel with that. Just how much does that help a guy like Cade? And obviously it's a different position, and tight ends have a lot different responsibilities.
Yeah, intelligence in football does a lot for you because at this level, obviously you have to be physically gifted, but intelligence takes you to the next level. And Cade has that, and he understands, like I said, he understands what we're trying to get done and understands the concepts and everything that everybody else is doing. So he knows where he fits into it and how to get open.
He's no secret, obviously, to defenses you face, but he continues to put up big numbers, 3 straight weeks of 8 receptions or more. How does he find ways to keep getting open, when he is a target now?
Yeah, in man-to-man coverage, he's just doing a good job of winning. But in the zone stuff, he's understanding the soft spots in the zones, the timing of where he's at in the progression, and that's a big part of it. And then, he's just in this offense right now, we're distributing the ball, trying to get it to everybody. And so sometimes they're not keyed in on him. There's a couple third downs that did double cover him or tried to, and so the ball's going to go elsewhere. But, he understands where he fits in the progression really well.
He's been taking some pretty big hits as well.
Yeah, he's been taking some hits. I know he's looking forward to the bye week, a little bit of rest for his body as well.
I asked Coach Bowles about Ryan Miller, just, guy that's practice squad guy, former was a tight end. And you go to him in the biggest moment, he said, well, probably because nobody was probably going to cover him, that might be the best reason. But just what do you work with so many receivers through this, with your top 3 guys out, just what does Ryan give to you?
Another guy that's doing everything we ask of him. He's doing the right things, doing it on time. I talked about it after the game, but he's a guy that last year, sitting behind on P Squad the whole year, really trying to learn and grow physically as well, but has taken advantage of his opportunities, and that's what it's about. You never know when your opportunity is going to come, and he's taking full advantage of it, but that's credit to him of being locked in mentally, getting his body right and being ready to play.
You're not going to line up against Kyle Juszczyk on Sunday, but I think you teed it up with him at the Pro-Am in Lake Tahoe. Just curious what your relationship is with him.
Juice is a great guy. Obviously, extremely intelligent, well-rounded football player. He does everything for them on offense, and just kind of their secret weapon. Just a great guy that, smart, intelligent guy that you enjoy having a conversation with, and decent golf player.
I know you said that it really is about what you guys do. You can play pretty much, especially on offense, with anybody. But when you look at the San Francisco 49ers defense, what do you think is the biggest challenge for you guys, Baker?
Pass rush, it starts up front. Obviously, Bosa, unbelievable player, got to know where he's at, and then they brought in Leonard Floyd, who's a great player as well that has his own production. Just, the way they rush the passer, they're jetting upfield. That's their system. They teach those guys to rush straight upfield, and so got to know that. Got to be able to protect up front and get the ball out. And just, obviously Fred Warner's a guy that in the second level, unbelievable player. Flies around, really makes that defense go. Tough to stop in the run game because he recognizes these plays so quickly. And so you got those guys, and in the secondary they got some veterans, and they have some young players that are playing really well for them right now. But their corners, Lenore and Ward, are scrappy players, good ball skills. So did heads in Atlanta. Thought I'd switch it up. I think if I go back and talk to somebody, the odds to go for heads again is better. Also, the rain, the coin stuck in the mud. I think it would bounce if it was dry. So, conditions, there's a lot that factors into it. Yeah, it's a ton of mental work. Guys got to get their body right. And that's, when you do the walkthroughs like we did today, they're trying to allow us to recover as quickly as possible. But yeah, guys have to take the accountability to be locked in. Certain pass play, what depth the route's at, the timing of it, and all that.
As a leader on this team,
More. I mean, you look at the games, some of the ones that we lost, there's been turnover problems. And so for me, it's, the most important thing is winning. And I'd rather have below average stats and a lot of wins than what I got right now. So it's about winning for me.
Okay, thank you.
All right, so that was Baker Mayfield talking about previewing that game between the Niners and the Buccaneers on Sunday. They've lost 3 in a row. They're trying to, this is an important game for both teams this Sunday because and the Buccaneers sitting at 4-5, and they do not want to go in their bye week. In their bye week 4-6, they trail the Atlanta Falcons by 2 full games in the NFC North. It's an important game for both teams because of the positioning in the playoff positioning in the NFC. As let me just take a look at where we're sitting right now. If you take a look at it right now, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are 2 games back in first. The Falcons have a 2-game lead. And then for the 49ers, they're 1 game back, but they have the Rams are ahead of them right now because of the tiebreakers. So this schedule is not going to be easier for the 49ers. And, there's a lot of football to be in the second half. The Niners are in 3rd place right now, and they have a half-game lead ahead of Seattle, who's in the basement, who missed a golden opportunity to win that game last Sunday up at home. And, so the 49ers, well, this is a big game for both teams this coming Sunday. And the Cardinals are at 5-4. They'll host the New York Jets in that late game window on CBS Sunday at State Farm Stadium in Glendale. And, and then the Rams will be hosting the Miami Dolphins next Monday night. So the Niners, this is for both teams. And then you look at the conference record as well. The Niners are 2-3 and and that does not bode well for them. So the Niners are the right time for them to get some people back healthy and try to tread the water and try to get some wins before they get towards that month of. But the good news is the 49ers have won 70% of their games in the second half over the last few years. So right now we will go to the press conference with Buccaneers head coach, former 49ers defensive back Todd Bowles. Shares his thoughts of the Niners and the Buccaneers this Sunday in Tampa. We'll give you that clip in just a moment.
Afternoon.
Kind of a walkthrough type deal today, but is there anything you can determine as far as helping some of these guys get up the night?
Hopefully Greg will look a little better. He's trending towards the right way. He will be the main one from a positive standpoint.
With Jalen, I know that it happened late last week. Was that something that was like an actual aggravation or something where he just took a turn for the worse late in the week?
It's just aggravated. Just took a turn for the worse Friday, and it didn't get any better yet. So we're waiting to see how he feels.
Hamstrings are something that every team has injuries with, especially at the receiver, defensive back position. But in Liam's offense, he said at the beginning of the year, these guys are going to be running a lot of motion, a lot of this kind of thing, even in practice. Has that compounded any of this, you think?
I don't think so. He missed some time earlier, and it wasn't a hamstring. So, the running, it just happened on Friday. We was doing pretty good. It's not like it was a overall hard thing to do because it was red zone and goal line. So it was just one of those things.
49ers are a team that you've played over the past couple of seasons. What has kind of given the Bucs issues when facing 49ers?
I mean, they're talented. They're very well coached on both sides of the ball. They got a lot of talent. We got to deal with a bunch of different obstacles on offense and defensively. They're very talented, can get after the passer as well, and they got some very good cover guys. So we got to be on our P's and Q's. We can't turn the ball over, and we got to get some stops defensively.
We talked after the game Monday night, the frustrations on third down and not being like off the field on defense. But it's actually been worse on fourth down this year. You guys have given up 14 conversions on fourth down as this plays, but why, when it kind of means the most, the defense has struggled with that?
Part of the time we got pressure and we didn't cover the right way. Part of the time we covered long enough and didn't get any pressure. So it's a combination of both. We got to make plays and get off the field. It's got to be an urgency in those situations.
Kid is really flourishing with the Mike and Chris out.
Just asking him to step up more in a receiver role. You really see his route running prowess and you see his precision.
That what causes him to kind of get open, give him
I mean, they're scheming it well too, so you got to deal with a lot of other aspects other than Kate. So he kind of schemes him open and he gets open.
Can you tell me, like with Ryan Miller, you got him ice. Undrafted guy, Furman, been around the practice squad. Just what the process has been for him. Obviously, opportunity, right? But like, what it's been for him and what do you like about his game?
It's been a grind. For him, it's new for him, but he's probably not the fastest or probably not the quickest, but he's one of the toughest. He understands every position. He plays the game the right way. He's always in the right spot. He has outstanding hands, and the game's never too big for him. He always competes, and when you have a guy like that,
easy to keep him around.
Moment, right? Like they go to him in that situation where you have to score a touchdown. That shows that you knew he would be in the right place, I guess, or Baker did.
Yeah, it shows we didn't think they would cover him. So
Probably, right.
I think he's on the scouting report now, so we can't hide him anymore. But he does all the right things, and he made a good play.
It looks like they might have Christian McCaffrey back. I know how dangerous it is. What's the key for you guys on defense if he is back?
It's just another weapon we got to worry about, along with him, Debo, Kittles, Purdy as well. You got to worry about 5 different guys. You can't just worry about McCaffrey. So we got to be sound defensively, and everybody's got to do their assignment because they're talented all over the field.
We talked about Vita a little bit the other day. Do you think him just starting to because obviously you're getting a lot of pressure inside from both those guys?
Each other out, each other gets sacks, and they're working. Get pressure on them.
Every year's different, Todd, and you started 3-1 2 years in a row, and then something has happened. Maybe this year it's more injuries than anything, but like. Climbing.
Okay, so that's Todd Bowles and his thoughts of how it's going to be. This is going to be a very big game for both teams in this game. The two teams were at least at the 500 or at around that 504. The Buccaneers are 4-5. Very important game for both teams and for the playoff position as well. The Buccaneers, the Niners are coming off their bye week. While the Bucks are on a very short week. That's the bad news, but the good news is that the game is at home. So this is an important game for both teams. The Niners, kind of keep pace with the Arizona Cardinals, and if the Niners right now could easily be 6-2 right now, and have possibly a stranglehold in the NFC West, but right now they're not. So. There's a lot of football left to be played in the second half, and the Niners getting people back healthy, and we shall see. So here on 49ers Live tonight, Professor B, glad you're joining us. And now we're going to go into our next segment. We're going to go into our Niners Radio 49 flashback. We're going to go back to the year 1994. We're going to go to Week 10, the 10th week of the season. 49ers taking on the Washington Redskins in the nation's capital. We're going to get you that video set up in a few moments, and this is going to be a good one. 49ers taking on the Washington Redskins at RFK Stadium. Now, this is a matchup of two teams who are in total opposite ends of directions. Of course, these were the two of the NFL's glamour teams back in the 1980s through the 90s. Between 1981 through 1995, they were combined. They combined for 6 Super Bowl appearances. And the Niners went the 5 times. The Redskins went 3, and they won 2. They combined to win 7 of those 8 Super Bowls within a 15-year period between 1981 through 1994. In that 14 during a 14-year period span. Of course, the 49ers and the Redskins had some in the 80s. The 49ers, of course, were the winningest team in pro football in the 80s, while Joe Gibbs was the winningest head coach in the 80s. But things have changed in the past couple of years. Of course, Joe Gibbs ended up retiring after the 1992 season. Then they gave it away to his assistant, I'm trying to think, Richie Pettibone. Lasted just one season. He was a one and done after the 1983 season. Then they handed the reins to former Dallas Cowboys offensive coordinator Norv Turner to take over as the Redskins head coach. And this is not the same Redskin team like when they had Joe Theismann, when they had a lot of their players left via free agency or into retirement. Guys like Mark Rippon has moved on. You had Brian Mitchell, who we had on our podcast multiple times. He's working for ESPN Washington, D.C. at a radio station back there. And then you had some other guys on that show. Had some other guys on that show that played for the Redskins, of course, Gary Clark and Mark Schlereth and Jim Lachey and Art Monk, a future Hall of Famer. And they've had a lot of their personnel change over in recent times. And they're taking on a Redskins team who comes into this game with a 2-6 record and in the bottom of the NFC East. We're going to show you the highlight from that game coming up, and we'll continue on Niners Radio 49. We're going to get that one set up for you, queued up, ready to go, and we'll show it to you in just a moment. You're watching 49ers Live tonight on Niners Radio 49. Right, we have some technical difficulties. We apologize for the inconvenience. We're going to show you that highlight, show you that highlight, that Niner Redskin game from November 6, 1984. They're playing against the Redskins in the nation's capital. We'll show it to you in just a moment. You're watching 49ers Live tonight on Niners Radio 49.
Longest touchdown run of his career. And a reverse.
With the game and the division lead firmly in hand, the 49ers took the following week off, then jetted east to the nation's capital on Election Eve, where they delivered many happy returns to San Francisco fans in precincts nationwide.
And Young drops back to throw and goes downfield, and Brent Jones is all alone. Can he win the foot race to the 25, the 20, the 15, the 10, the 5, into the end zone? Brent Jones, the longest touchdown run of his career. And a reverse to Jerry Rice, and Young is there to block. He's to the 25, the 20, he's to the 10. Touchdown 49ers. Jerry Rice scores another one.
Then the defense and special teams made sure their votes were counted.
Interception, McDonald down the left sideline. He's all alone. He can walk this one in. 74-yard touchdown interception for San Francisco. And Carter waits for it at the 4-yard line, comes up to the 10. Cuts to his right to the 20, gets to the 25 to the 30, 35 to the 40, 45, still in bounds at the 50, down the sideline to the 30, down to the 20, down to the 10. The touchdown for the 49ers, 97-yard touchdown run by Dexter Carter. Talk about a big play day for San Francisco.
Fortunately, the Niners would have a few more big plays in reserve for the Cowboys in the NFL showdown game of the season. To win, the 49ers would have to shut down Troy Aikman and shut up trash-talking playmakers like Alvin Harper.
All right, so that's something. Jump the. Hold on. Here we go. Light went. Okay, we're back on. So the 49ers with a very important win, 37-22 win over the Washington Redskins and at RFK Stadium. And boy, two teams like I was telling you about a few moments ago in total opposite ends of the spectrum. Niners taking care of business, winning these early games. As now we're going to take a look around a recap of that game in just a moment. So before we get to that, and this was a 10th week game. We'll take you back to that 10th week from November 6, 1994, and give you some of the statistical numbers from that game. We're here on so we will take a look at that. It was from week number 10 from November of 1984. Niners winning it by a score of 37-22. Was the final score on back in the 10th week of the 1984 season. So we got our give our numbers just a moment. We are going to as Radio 49, we eliminate. We'll take a look around the week number. We'll go back in our week 10 scoreboard and take a look of week number 10 in the NFL scoreboard. All right, we apologize for the technical difficulties. We're just having some problems with our system. Keep on cutting off, so we apologize. We're just trying to get the So we apologize for that. We continue on our Niners radio for you. We're going to just do the full recap in its entirety of the scoreboard from week number 10 as so Green Bay or Chicago over Tampa 20-6, Green Bay over Detroit 38-30. And then oh gosh, here we go. $38-30. Vikings over the Saints 21-20. Niners, of course, beat the Redskins 37-22. Setting up that stage for that big showdown with the Cowboys the following week. We'll recap that game next week. Niners over the Dolphins over the Colts 22-21. Browns over the Patriots 13-6. Browns go to the surprising Cleveland Browns who've been shut out of the playoffs for the last 4 years in a row. They're trying to get back to the postseason play for the first time in 5 years. 13-6. The Patriots are 3-6 through 9 games, but they would turn things around. They would run the table the rest of the way to get back to the playoffs for the first time in a while. The Pittsburgh Steelers with a big divisional win over the Houston Oilers 12-9. It was the veteran getting the game-winning field goal. Gary Anderson hit that game-winning field goal was the difference as it was a defensive struggle. Bam Morris, 28 carries for 74 yards. And then Eric Green, 4 catches for 43 yards for the Steelers. And the veteran Hayward Jeffries, 7 catches for 53 yards. Steelers improved to 6-3, while the Oilers fall to 1-8, dead last in the AFC Central Division. Boy, what a complete fall of events for the Oilers. A year earlier, the Oilers had the best, after losing 4 of their first 5 games. Then they end up, end up finishing the year with an 11-game winning streak, won their final 11 games to win the AFC Central. They were the hottest team in football going into the playoffs. Talk of the town, possibly an all-Texas Super Bowl for bragging rights between the Cowboys and the Oilers, and then they lost that heartbreaking playoff game to Joe Montana, the Kansas City Chiefs. Then they break that team up, including Warren Moon, end up going to the Minnesota Vikings, and they're suffering through some rough times. Of course, by that time, they parted ways with Jack Pardee. They bring in a young assistant, Jeff Fisher, to take over the club. So the Oilers fallen through some hard times. Of course, a couple of years later, they would play their final season in Houston and leave in the Astrodome after the 96 season. And in other games, important, the 49ers are watching Falcons over the Chargers 10-9 down at the Georgia Dome in Atlanta. The Chargers fall to 7-2. The Falcons are 5-4. So the Niners at 7-2 maintain a 3-game lead over the Atlanta Falcons for the top spot in the NFC West as the Niners are starting to pull away from the West. And then it was the Philadelphia Eagles 17-7 over the Arizona Cardinals at Veterans Stadium in Philadelphia. Randall Cunningham threw for 201 yards and 2 touchdown passes. He rushed another 8 for 63 yards. He ended up altogether had 264 all-purpose yards. And then Freddie Barnett, 11 catches for 173 yards and 2 touchdown receptions for the veteran. With the win, the Eagles improved to 7-2. The Cardinals fall to 3-6. Buddy Ryan's first year as Cardinals head coach. And remember, the Eagles, this is the same Eagles team who beat the 49ers who beat the 49ers back in Week 5. At the midway point, they're 7-2, and of course, they would not win another game the rest of the year. They would finish the year with losing their final 7 games in a row to end the year, and that ended the end of an era coaching tenure for Richie Kotite in the city of brotherly love in Philadelphia. Other scores to note: Jets over the 4-time defending AFC champion Buffalo Bills, 22-17, as Boomer Esiason threw for 2 touchdown passes in the game, and both teams, Bills dropped to 5-4. The Jets are 5-4. The Bengals over the Seattle Seahawks in overtime. They knock off the Seahawks 20-17 in overtime, as Jeff Blake threw for 387 yards, and it was Darnay Scott, his go-to guy, one of his go-to guys, 7 catches for 157 yards. Brian Blades caught 4 receptions for 85 yards in losing effort. Bengals pick up their first win in 94. They go to 1-8. The Seahawks fall to 3-6. And then it was the the LA Rams over the Broncos 27-21 down in Anaheim. John Elway threw for 241 yards, 2 touchdown passes. Chris Chandler threw for 2 touchdown passes in the losing effort. And it was Jerome Bettis, the bust, when he was with the Rams before he had his best years with the Steelers. 33 carries, 91 yards, and a touchdown. Shannon Sharp, 7 catches for 69 yards. Jerome Bettis caught 6 balls for 21 yards, so he ended up having a great day. .111 all-purpose yards for the former Notre Dame star. The Rams improved to 4-5. The Broncos dropped to 3-6, and then the Kansas City Chiefs defeat the Raiders 13-3. Jeff Hostetler threw 2 interceptions in the game. Joe Montana threw for a touchdown pass. Marcus Allen, 15 carries for 62 yards. He caught 5 balls for 30 yards. The Chiefs improved their record to 6-3. They remain 1 game behind the Chargers for the top spot in the AFC West, while the Raiders, the disappointing Raiders have fallen to 4-5. And then on Monday Night Football, it was the Dallas Cowboys, the 2-time defending Super Bowl champions, in their dress rehearsal game before the big showdown with the 49ers the following week, 38-10 over the New York Giants. Troy Aikman threw for 241 yards, a touchdown. Emmitt Smith, 35 carries, 163 yards, 2 touchdowns. And then Michael Irvin, the playmaker, 7 catches for 118 yards. Cowboys, 8-1. Giants go to 3-6. And that's how it went from week number 10 in the NFL. Niners taking care of business. They're now at 7-2. They're starting to get people back healthy. They're getting people back healthy, and these two Titans will face each other head to head the following week at Candlestick Park, and the advantage will definitely be the 49ers, because the Niners are going to be rested in their home, while the Cowboys on that short week have the very short week. They'll be on that short week. So the Niners, and next week when we go to week 11, we will recap that showdown between the Niners and Cowboys for the top spot in the 2 best teams in pro football. We will get to that next week. So this was a big showdown for the top spot in the NFL, the 2 best teams in pro football, all the hype, the Cowboys winning back-to-back Super Bowls. Now they have a new head coach, Barry Switzer, replacing Jimmy Johnson, and this is going to be the battle of the two heavyweights. We will talk about that game next week on our 49er flashback as we continue to commemorate the 30-year anniversary of the 1994 49ers, that's going to be the big showdown for next week on our Niners Radio flashback. So we recap all three of the anniversary games, the 84 season. The Niners in Week 10 were able to beat the Bengals, hold off a very not a bad Bengal team, though their record didn't indicate. They lost so many close games from Week 10. They were winners in Week 10. The Niners go to 10-1, and then we recap last night with the Niners win over the Saints that they beat this. They've now swept the New Orleans Saints, and the Niners now have a 3-game lead. Their record now is at 8-1. They have a 3-game lead over the Rams for the top spot in the NFC West, while the Rams, who started that season 5-0 in '89, now are in a slump, have lost 4 in a row. And then the Niners, with their impressive win over the Redskins in the nation's capital, they're now 7-2. They are 3 games up on the 3 games ahead of the Falcons for the top spot in the NFC West, and they're 1 game behind the Dallas Cowboys for the overall top spot for the NFC. And we'll talk about that game next week. Now, next week when we have we assemble for our recaps for Niners Radio 49, we'll recap at our 40-year anniversary segment. We'll take you a look back of week number 11. The Niners traveled to Northern Ohio to take on the Cleveland Browns at Cleveland's Municipal Stadium. Then, in the middle, then we'll recap at our 1989. That's for our 40-year anniversary Super Bowl season. In our 35th anniversary commemorating the 49ers back-to-back Super Bowl wins, we'll take a look back of week number 10. The Niners taking on the Atlanta Falcons. They come to Candlestick. And then next week, the big one. Next week, week 11, Niners and Cowboys at the Stick. We're all on the line. Who will have the home field advantage, whether it's going to go through Texas Stadium in Irving or through the Stick. So we'll talk about that more later next week. So continue on Niners Radio, 49ers Live tonight. Just a reminder coming up, an event will be coming up this weekend. And just a reminder, check out our Facebook page at Facebook.com/Niners Radio 49, and it's Drink to Recover. And I want to pull this out on my Here we go. We're going to share you this good information right now it's a snap photo with Brock Purdy. This will be coming up next Tuesday, November the 12th from noon to 1 p.m. Pacific here in the Bay Area. The first 100 fans will receive a free Brock Purdy poster at this lucky store located at 565 Capitol Expressway in San Jose. And it will be photos only on the first come, first served. Signatures will not be permitted. It's Recovery Sports Hydration 180. So if you're in the area next Tuesday, November the 12th from noon to 1 p.m., Brock Purdy will be at the Lucky Supermarket in the South Bay in San Jose. First 100 fans will get a free Brock Purdy poster at the Lucky at West Capitol Expressway in San Jose. Photos only to the first come, first served basis. Signatures will not, I repeat, signatures autographs will not be permitted. So that's going to be a nice event coming up next week, and we hope you guys can enjoy that event. So we will be getting ready to wrap it up for tonight, getting ready to sign off. I'd like to thank all of you for watching on 49ers Live tonight with yours truly, Professor B. We covered everything from previewing the Niners and Bucks to both press conferences and everything. And we're continuing to set a standard and continue to build Niners Radio 49 and our satellite digital media platforms into a entrepreneurship, giving opportunity to people. So please tune in. Niners and the Buccaneers Sunday kickoff time, 10 a.m. local time. We will have a pre and post game show, and check us out. That will be on Fox Sports. Kevin Burkhardt and Tom Brady will give you the action at Raymond James Stadium. So for the latest news on 49ers News and so much more, go to 49ers.com. And that's it for now. Professor B signing off, and so long. And thank you for watching. I would like to thank for all of you watching 49ers Live tonight. We will hopefully have another round tomorrow night, or when we have that chance. We'll give you latest updates daily on our Niners Radio 49 up to the minute. We will always do that. And we like to wish all of you a very pleasant good evening. So that's it for now. Professor B signing off. And thank you for watching 49ers Live tonight on Niners Radio 49. And a reminder, we'll be back out at Levi Stadium in about 9 days from now. We'll be back out there where the Niners will take on the Seahawks. We'll have our regular show on 49ers Niners Radio 49. We'll have our regular show or tailgate show on Niners Radio 49. We'll be having a lot of specials in the coming weeks, though, as we're getting deep into the fall, into the holiday season. And it's going to be some fun content you will enjoy. For now, Professor B signing off. Thank you for watching 49ers Live tonight on Niners Radio 49. 49ers Live on Niners Radio 49 is a presentation of the Satellite Digital Media News Network, where every team has a fan, every fan has a voice, the network home of champions. We wish all of you a very pleasant good night, everybody. Take care.